Everybody, this is John Specko, and I'm going to be going over a Battlefield Hardline Sniping 101 guide. What you can expect from this is it's not going to be too in-depth, but it's also going to be pretty useful if you haven't seen any of my other guides. Okay, so we're starting off with setting up for success. Okay, first off, don't want to expect to be able to rack up points when you're tired. Shooters require a high amount of focus and concentration to dominate most of the time. Another thing is you want to be physically comfortable. If you find yourself readjusting or you start noticing aches and pains, it might be time for a new chair or a new setup. Another thing you want to think about is keeping your monitor or your TV at eye level. That'll keep the previous thing from happening a lot of times. Also, try not to rage or get frustrated when you do fail, because most people don't start off just amazing in the very beginning. Moving on, pick a sensitivity and keybinds or controls that work best for you. For some people, a really high sensitivity works. Some people, it doesn't. So if you want to think about it in a way of, what in the ideal world would be the best, would be, yes, if you could have a really high sensitivity, that would be the best if you can maintain it in a way that you can stay on target, but that's not the case for most people. Another thing I want to go over is a really high-end headset. Doesn't make as much of a difference as it does in other games, because you can sound whore in some other games, but I haven't really been able to do it in this one. I've played on everything from a really cheap Razer headset to my Astra A50s, and I just really don't see a difference. Okay, and another thing, if you can, teaming up with other people in game helps out a ton, especially if you have somebody that's a buddy that's around the same skill level as you. Sniper teams work extremely well due to the increased difficulty of one-shot kills in the Battlefield series if you're comparing it to, say, Call of Duty or something like that. That way, both of you get a hit on the target, you're probably going to get a kill, and it's also fun just to play with other people. Okay, moving on to things that are actually in-game. Okay, so loadout. So a big thing to me is, due to the change in ballistics and handling of the sniper rifles, picking one and sticking with it is most likely the best option. This is so whenever you're adjusting for windage, drop, recoil, and even the reload, it becomes second nature because you just feel you've gotten the real deal feel of that weapon and that system. However, if you were going to pick between a couple of them, I would say it's probably between the Scout Elite and the 300 Blackout. However, the 300 Blackout is a pain to get. As a secondary, I would recommend going with the Glock 18C. In my experience, it's just been the best as far as dealing with people when they get a little too close. A full auto from the hip weapon that just is pretty easy to handle. For the gadgets, laser trip mines and a grappling hook best suit this style of play that I'm really talking about of a long distance sniper. Okay, moving on to in-game strategy and technique. So one important thing is when sniping in this game is controlling the range of engagement. Okay, so being too close or too far, has a couple of different outcomes. So if you're too close, you're at a severe disadvantage having to deal with somebody that, say, has an AK or something like that, because you usually are only going to get one shot as far as trying to take them down. However, that's not the case if it's not another sniper. Being too far away puts it to where stationary targets are the only reliable kills. And you may end up just wasting your time and your team's because you're going to just be peppering people if you're getting shots and not headshots, or even if it's too long to get a headshot, depending on what you're using. And you're just not really doing anything other than being an annoyance and really waiting on somebody to sneak up on you and put a knife in your back. Okay, but this goes at a caveat. So, not really a caveat, but this depends on the level of skill or how good of a shot you are or a player is, because the first 2 points of controlling the range of engagement can really be negated by somebody that's just an excellent shot. Next, don't take a shot unless you're confident that it'll lead to a kill. Okay, so giving away your position or really just wasting a bullet really can sometimes, it can be hard not to do that because you say somebody's right there in my sights and I think I can kill them, or I say I might be able to go ahead and take the shot. Well, a lot of times if you take the shot, you don't kill them, instant death basically. Another thing to think about is it really worth killing one target and a big group of, another 6 of them that are immediately going to kill you? It depends. Did they kick your dog or make fun of your mama? If so, kill them. Otherwise, prioritize and either stay away from it, or the next thing, which is prioritizing your shots when dealing with multiple targets. The order should be from the greatest threat to the least, not necessarily the easiest shot. Examples are, say you have a target that's facing in your direction and one that's not. You're going to want to take the one that's facing in your direction first because they're just the bigger threat. And if you kill the guy that's not facing to you, the other guy's already in your direction, it's a lot easier for him to get the kill. Okay, so moving on to other things. So you always want to use cover and concealment as much as you can, and also use the lean mechanic for popping in and out of line of sight. Another thing is cover is always going to be more important than concealment unless you can get both. Elevated positions are usually better sniping spots provided they have cover and or concealment. Take advantage of hot spots on the map. You'll notice after playing a while that there's places that people always go to, and that's really where you want to go and have a line of sight on. That way you can get the most activity, and you're not getting 3 or 4 kills in a game and that's it. You really want to be a help to your team. And also if there's an objective, everybody's working for this particular objective, you need to work towards getting to that objective. And if you're going to be in a spot for a while, make sure to know the avenues of approach and place your trip mines accordingly. So you get into a building, there's 3 different ways to get into that building. One's in front of you, 2 are behind you. Those 2 need to have trip mines. And with the trip mines, make sure not to place them in an obvious spot to where the laser's going to be right in somebody's face whenever they're coming through. And also learn the maps. If you have to, go join an empty server and just explore. And the last thing I want to talk about is if you're in a server or in a lobby, and you just notice somebody on your team they're sniping and they're also just racking up a lot of points and doing really good, go see what they're doing so you can learn from them. However, you don't want to go up and stand up on top of them or right beside them or in front of them or do anything to really get in their way. And also you want to do anything to where if they're pretty much hidden or people don't know where they're at, to give away their spot, because that's kind of a jerk move. All right, well, that's really all I want to get into right now. That's run a little longer than I would like, considering kind of wanted this just be a one-on-one. But let me know what you think. Also, if you have any tips or anything like that you would like to share with everybody else, go ahead and do them in the comments. As always, I really appreciate you watching this. Please thumbs up or thumbs down. It helps me out a lot as far as knowing what to do with my content. Also, contribute to the comments, good or bad, just like with thumbs up or thumbs down. And subscribe if you're not already. Also, check out my Twitter and my Twitch. And those 2 kind of work in tandem because that's really the only reason I use Twitter is to let you know when I'm streaming. All right, have a good one.